الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وحجة رب العالمين المنتجب في الميثاق المصطفى في الضلال المطهر من كل آفة البرية من كل عيب المؤمل للنجاة المرتجى للشفاعة المفوضة إليه دين الله. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة زينب وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال سيد الشهداء أبا عبد الله الحسين: ويلكم ما عليكم أن تنصتوا لي فتسمعوا قولي، وإنما أدعوكم إلى سبيل الرشاد، فمن أطاعني كان من المرشدين ومن عصاني كان من المهلكين، وكلكم عاص لأمري غير مستمع قولي، فقد ملئت بطونكم من الحرام وطبع على قلوبكم. ويلكم ألا تنصتون ألا تسمعون. For the hasten and appearance of Imam صاحب العصر والزمان، أرواحنا وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. Aloud صلوات. For your well-being and the well-being of your family and the Zuwar of Abdullah al-Hussain and A'immat al-Ma'soomeen, another louder salawat. What drove 40,000 plus soldiers to commit the most barbaric, violent acts in the history of mankind? Mankind never witnessed before the day of Ashura 61 AH and until the day of judgment a tragedy that is more violent, barbaric in its history. What drove these people? These people were not Christians, they were not Jews, they were not Buddhists, they were not Hindus. They claimed to be Muslims. They claimed to be Muslims. It is also narrated on the day of Ashura, when it was time for Salat, there were 40 groups of people praying Salat al-Jama'ah. 40. Not the camp of Imam al-Hussein, the camp of Umar ibn Sa'd. They believed in Islam, but what drove them to come and fight? The only remaining grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, armed to the teeth with one objective: to annihilate the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. If you look at the history, and if you look at the day of Ashura itself, the day of Ashura is not like any other day. The day of Ashura, first of all, if you come to this day, try not to go to work. That day is a day of mourning. That day is a day of crying, weeping for the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi afdalus salatu wassalam. You find the other sects of Islam, they fast on this day, they celebrate this day, the day of Ashura. They even have weddings, not only on the day of Ashura, but they start the weddings from the 1st of Muharram until the last days of Safar, celebrating the days that Imam al-Hussain, the grandson of who? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, was martyred in Karbala. And yet these people, you find them to be claiming to be Muslims. A day which not before a days or months, but before years, we were foretold of what will happen on the day of Ashura. On many occasions, you find that we have narrations of Ibrahim, Nabiullah, and then you have Isa, Musa, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells them what will happen on the day of Ashura to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to which when Jibreel came to Rasulullah and he brought to Rasulullah 4 coffins, and he handed them over to Rasulullah and he said, these 4 are yours for the 5 of Ashab al-Kisa. We are 5, we're not 4. How come you give me 4? The number is 5 here, not 4. He said, Ya Rasulullah, one of them is yours. One of these coffins is yours. The other one is for Ali, for Fatima, and the last one is for Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba. What about my son Hussein? Well, he doesn't have any coffin. The coffin for Hussein is the blood. The coffin for Hussein is the dirt of Karbala. The coffin of Hussein is those arrows and the broken spears and the rocks and the swords on the body of Imam al-Hussein. This is the coffin of Hussein. Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba, when he was vomiting pieces of his liver, going through that painful experience, he looks up and he sees his brother Imam al-Hussein crying, to which he says to him, Ya Aba Abdullah, la yawmaka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. There is no day like yours, Ya Aba Abdullah. What drives people to do such a heinous crime? A criminal doesn't become a criminal in one day. Gradually, until he becomes a criminal. If you look at Ed Gein, Jeff Dunham, and the serial killers today, if you look at their history, they start very slowly, gradually, from small animals, killing small animals and torturing them, and then they exceed, they come and they go up to killing humans. Same thing about this 40,000. They didn't just become criminals in the blink of eye. Suddenly they came there to kill Imam al-Hussein. They had history. Imam al-Hussein, on the day of Ashura, it is narrated that he delivered more than 10 speeches. Why? Because he still was hoping for them to change. He was still hoping for them to turn to the right path. But because of many of deviations and many of wrong turns, being off base, way off base, he can't return them. And that's what he says to them. He came on the day of Ashura to address them. And it is narrated by Lady Zainab, Salamullah alayha. They were playing the drums. They were screaming. They were hitting the swords together, making that big voices and those large, loud noises, where Imam al-Hussein stood in front of them with the turban of Rasulullah, with the abaa of Rasulullah, and in his hand the Quran, saying what? I'm a Muslim and I am the grandson of Rasulullah. And he says to them, listen to me. Why don't you listen? She came to her brother, Lady Zainab, and she says to Imam al-Hussein, why don't they listen? They never encountered such people. Why don't they listen? To which he says to her, مُلِئَتْ بُطُونُهُمْ مِنَ الْحَرَامِ. Their stomachs is filled with haram. And that's what drives them after 50 years from the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to come and kill the grandson of Rasulullah. How many years? 50. Only 50 years. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The bloodiest event, killing even a 6-month-old child, an infant, on the day of Ashura. This is nothing to, close our eyes to. As why? Because now, 21st century, we still have the same problems we are facing. Today, if you look at the young generation, you find that nothing phases them out. Nothing phases them. Nothing. Before, back in the 70s, 80s, if they had a movie in the theater and they killed 1 or 2 people, everyone comes out and says this was a bloody movie, because everyone is freaked out by it. Today, if you look at the media, if you look at the cinematic theaters, movies that comes out, look at the video games, at what's going on social media, for a child, for a teenager, nothing phases them out. Nothing. Nothing phases them out. Because we have become like beasts. Before, if you recite one poetry, you see the people crying for Imam al-Hussain. Just mentioning the name of Hussain, that was enough. It is narrated that there was one of the biggest ulama, maraji', who was sitting down. He asked one of the khutaba to recite a majlis, and he started Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and then he said this: Zainab entered the court of Yazid. The marja', the alim, said to him, stop right there, that is enough. Zainab, Lady Zainab, Aqilatu al-Talibiyin, enters the court of Yazid. That is enough. That is a tragedy itself. And he stood there with the people, crying and weeping and hitting his head. Now if you recite the maqtal of Imam al-Hussain, it's as if we're reciting a story of Lord of the Rings. Nobody faces them anything, and in the end of the maqtal, oh yeah, it broke our heart. Why? We have to ask the question, why? If you look at these 40,000 people, there were no mercy. If someone today, now, in this gathering, harms a child, what would you do? What would you do? And that child is not your child. That child is not related to you. What would you do? You get up in the defense of that child, don't you? Even if that child is wrong, but it's a child. If a child right now today asks you for a drop of water, what would you do? Even if that child was naughty, been speaking with loud voice, you don't care, you give them water. It's the right to have water. But you find these people claim to be Muslims. Umar ibn Sa'd. Let's talk about Umar ibn Sa'd. And he's the leader of this army. Umar ibn Sa'd. Before I speak about Umar, let's speak about the objectives of these people, their aim. Many of these people who came in Karbala to kill Imam al-Hussain, they had different reasons. One of them was Umar ibn Sa'd, who came there to gain the governorship of Ray. Ray is the modern day Tehran. And when they say Ray, it means all of Persia that was under the Islamic ruling. That was Umar ibn Sa'd. There were people, it is narrated, they came there to kill Imam al-Hussain to get a basket of date. Basket of date. That was it. They were promised basket of date. And we have others, they came there for sport, just to have fun. When it said that Abdullah bin Hasan came out running from the tent to help Imam al-Hussein. At his last moments, Imam al-Hussein, when he waved the sword at Abdullah bin Hasan and he struck him, he started laughing hysterically. We are there to have fun. Did they know the family of Rasulullah? Yes. Umar ibn Sa'd, when Imam al-Hussein asked him to have a conversation with him, he said, face to face, me and you only. He said to him, Umar, don't you know who I am? He said, of course I know. You are the grandson of Rasulullah. You are the son of Fatima al-Zahra. You are the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And Rasulullah said about you, Al-Hasan wal-Hussain, Sayyiday Shababi Ahl al-Jannah. Husaynun minni wa ana min Hussein. I know all of that. I tell you one thing. The enemies that killed Imam al-Hussein, some of them knew about the progeny of Rasulullah more than some of Shia today. They knew them. They knew them. They knew who these people are. But they are there to kill, massacre them. Another group of people, they were there from pure hatred. From this army, pure hatred. لما تقاتلونني? Imam asked them, why are you fighting me? Why are you killing me? They said nothing, for no reason but our hatred toward your father. بغضا لنا لأبيك بما فعل بأشياخنا ببدر وحنين. This is only to take revenge. صلى على محمد وآل محمد. الثاني يرحمكم الله. صل على because of our hatred toward your father, Ali. They were there. They knew who they were. They knew the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On the last moment, I tell you this. What Umar ibn Sa'd did was, Umar ibn Sa'd, he brought a group of Christians into Karbala, group of assassins. So on the last moments for Imam al-Hussein, the last person to finish off Imam al-Hussein, he wanted that to be one of the Christians. Why? So tomorrow he could say that he was one of the Christians, he wasn't us, we weren't the Muslims. That last moment, Imam was taking his last breath. Omar said, bring this group of assassins, let them go and finish off Hussein. One of them came, their leader, he came into the battlefield, he went to that where the steep was, where Imam Hussein was laying there, and when he came there, he saw the Imam, he came back running. They said to him, why didn't you finish him off? He said, I saw the face of Jesus. What? He said, yes, I saw the face of Jesus. You want me to kill him? No. And in his hands he had daggers. And he started fighting the army of Umar ibn Sa'd, and he was killed on that day, even though he wasn't a Muslim. Others came, even Shem himself. When he came, Imam said to him, don't you know who I am? He said, yes, I know who you are. You are Hussein. You are the grandson of Rasulullah. You are such and such. And if you look at it, he knew who Hussein was, but he was there to finish off Imam al-Hussein. What drives people to such a thing? Imam, he says himself, مُلِئَتْ بُطُونُكُمْ مِنَ الْحَرَامِ. It is because of that bite that it's haram. Listen to this, young man and woman. And I say for young man and woman first, before their families. Whatever you consume, whatever you eat has an impact on you. Don't think this is an open field. We are not like animals that we go into open field, eat whatever we find. Whatever you consume, that turns into blood. that turns into meat, that turns into energy, and that blood that flows throughout your vein, if it's from haram, drives you to do haram. If it's from halal, it drives you to do halal. No man, no woman who eat halal commits sins, and no man, no woman who eat haram pray salat al-layl. It doesn't work out like that. It doesn't work out like that. Umar ibn Sa'd, if you look at his life, this man, Umar ibn Sa'd did many of criminal acts before Karbala. What Umar ibn Sa'd did. Umar ibn Sa'd, before we go to what Umar did on the day of Karbala, the day of Ashura, let's look at some of the impacts. Number one, qasawatul qalb. It hardens your heart. That doesn't phase you out because of what you have eaten. You see, when they killed Abdullah al-Radi' on the day of Ashura, that was like for them killing any other soldier. Because of that, their hearts were hardened. There was no more mercy left in them. Qasawatul qalb. That is one. Two, al-israru ala al-dhanb. Determination to do haram. He's determined to do haram. Umar ibn Sa'd had many ways of escaping this, you know. He had the same and even more than Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. Hurr said it once, أخير نفسي بين الجنة والنار. One time he said it and he chose paradise. Umar had more than one chance to change the course. Even the Imam spoke with him. Even the Imam said to him, don't fight me. Well, I have the promise of gaining the governorship of Ray. And the Imam said to him, they will not give you the governorship of Ray. This is just a false promise. They will not give it to you. And then he said to the Imam, see, Shaitan plays a big role. Excuses one after the other. What does he say? Well, I have a lot of debts. I have a lot of loans that I have to pay off. And they promised me to pay them off. The Imam said to him, I will pay your debts. I will pay those money that you have to pay back. He said to the Imam, I have a house. They will destroy my house. Imam said to him, I will give you my own house. Just change the direction. Go away from this. Don't fight me. And the Imam said to him, you will not eat one seed of ray. And he made fun of the Imam. He mocked the Imam. On the day of Ashura, he was the first to shoot an arrow in Karbala. And he said, Ishhadu li 'inda al-Amir. Be a witness that I was the first to start the war. Tell him that it was me. See, drives a person, pushes it. It doesn't start straight away. If you look at the criminals today, if you look at the records, he started from petty theft. And then breaking and entering, and then murder. Doesn't straight, no, gradually, slowly, get him to come to Karbala to kill Imam al-Hussain. So al-israru ala al-dam. So what did this person do? This person, it is narrated that he falsely accused and he testified against Hujr ibn Uday. Who? Umar ibn Sa'd. And they promised him some gift, Muawiyah, that if you testify against this man, we will give you that. And he testified. See? Well, that was one. Two, when Muslim ibn Aqil, the ambassador of Imam al-Hussain, arrived in Kufa, what this man did was he wrote letters. Umar ibn Sa'd, he wrote letters to Yazid, saying to Yazid, Yazid, if you want to hold on to the Kufa and Basra, send someone to replace Nu'man ibn Bashir because he's weak, he's not taking care of the situation in Kufa. Get someone to come here to take care of Muslim ibn Aqil. Who says that? Umar ibn Sa'd. Umar ibn Sa'd. So he's the cause of Muslim being killed, martyred in Kufa. And they sent, we spoke about this one night, they sent this man, alayhi la'anullah, Ubaidullah bin Ziyad. When Ubaidullah bin Ziyad came there, he started taking care of all the Shia, even Muslim was killed. And here, he said to Umar ibn Sa'd, this was the start, the launch of this man to go and fight Imam al-Hussain, Sayyid al-Shuhada. He said to him, I heard that you are right, is that true? See? He knows which buttons to push. Is that true? Yes. Do you want the governorship of Ray? Yes. Okay, do one thing for us. Go kill Hussein, we give it to you. I will put a good word to my Khalifa, my Amir, and that is Yazid, to get you to take over where? The governorship of Ray. What he said here, that was a mistake. That was his first mistake of going to Karbala, and he said to him, give me one night to think about this. What is the answer to this? If someone asks you today, tells you today, go kill the Imam of your time and I will give you such and such, what would you say? What's the answer here? Definitely not. Even if that ends my life, my family's life, destroys my house, and whatever belongs to me, my investments, I don't care. I will not go through this. But you said, give me that one night. Let me think about it. Why? Because Shaitan wants to play his role, Iblis. He wants to calculate it for him some way. He makes it easy for him and makes it very, swallowable. He can swallow it. That one night he spent it walking around in the courtyard of his house, thinking, am I going to kill Hussein? Am I going to kill? Am I going to? Until what? Sunrise. And then in the end he came with those poems where he said, yes, I will kill Hussein, and in 2 years or so, I will ask Allah forgiveness. And who says there is Jannah? Who says there is Nar? Think about this life now. And he embarked, he went on the journey to kill Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Brothers, come to the front a little bit. Rahimallah man dhakara al-qa'ima min ali Muhammad. Come on. الثاني يرحمكم الله. He came to Ubaidullah bin Ziyad in the morning and he said, yes, I have agreed to that. What? I had agreed to kill Hussein for the governorship of Ray. After killing Imam al-Hussein, when he ended up in Kufa, and after the speech of Imam Zainul Abidin in Sham, they started pointing fingers at one another. Yazid said, it wasn't me, that wasn't my decision, it was Ubaidullah bin Ziyad. I didn't ask Ubaidullah to kill Hussein. Ubaidullah bin Ziyad, of course, he can't say the same to his Amir. He's like a puppy, he's scared. So who am I going to blame? Who? Umar ibn Sa'd. And Umar ibn Sa'd, every day he comes to the mosque, people throw rocks at him, they kick him out of the mosque. He comes to Darul Imara asking for the governorship of Ray. That was what was promised to me, give it to me. Every day he says to him, come tomorrow, come tomorrow. And nothing was delivered to this man until he was killed on his bed. Like the Imam said, Sallat Allah man yadhbahuka ala firashik. May Allah put someone to decapitate you while you are sleeping. Mukhtar sent someone to decapitate him, cut his head off while he was sleeping. This is the end of such a person. He did not gain anything in this life. خسر الدنيا, and of course خسر الآخرة. And he ended up in hellfire, in the inferno. So this is the impact of haram. Imam himself says to them, what don't you listen to me? If the Imam can have any effect on you, who can have it? It is because of what you have eaten. If that is all taken away, melted away, then you are in the right path of salvation, of perfection. If that all is good, perfected, then you say, whatever I eat, whatever my children eat, I have to take care of this. Because, just imagine this, if the Imam can't change their mind because of their haram food they have consumed, who can change their mind? Who? Who can change their mind? And they stood there until the last moments of the Imam, and they decapitated the Imam, and this la'in, may Allah curse him, he ordered the horses to stampede the bodies. Alongside these bodies was the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. This is the end of the person who consumes haram. This is the end of a person who doesn't care what he's eating. Whatever comes to me, let me consume it. And that is what's happening today, 21st century in a Western society, that everyone is okay to eat everything. Let me just satisfy my hunger, quench my thirst, no matter what this is. We have to be careful. I'm not going to go into stories, I don't have time, I just ran out of time. But there are many stories. One of them, just one short one, was of Mahdi al-Abbasi, who he called an individual to his court. And he said to him, I give you three options, choose one of them. One, you become a qadi, a judge. Two, you teach my children, you become their teacher. Three, you have lunch with us. And this man, of his simplicity, he chose the third one. He said, well, I don't want to become a qadi because I know you will ask me to do such and such, and I'm not up for a job. I don't want to become teacher for your children. Let me eat that meal with you. And that meal, because of it being haram, he afterward chose the other two things, and he said, I am now whatever you want me to be, because of that consumption of haram. Don't ask the question, why is it if someone tells me of the saga of Karbala, I don't cry? It's because of that. Look ahead, as we said one night, Imam al-Sadiq says that لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يُحَاسِبُ نَفْسَهُ. He's not one of us, a person who doesn't come and audits himself, like a person audits himself every financial year. Every night, the Imam said, كُلُّ لَيْلَةٍ, every night, take care of that family of yours. Believe me, that family, that children, that wife, that son of yours, that daughter of yours, there is nothing more pricier than those, more worthier than those. But what do we want them to be tomorrow? We spoke about the virtues of the companions of Imam al-Hussain. That was their virtues. But look at the vices of these people. And that is why they stand there massacring the sons of Imam al-Hussain, Ali al-Akbar, and Abdullah al-Radi on the day of Ashura. To which Ali al-Akbar comes to his father and he says, Abatah, I am thirsty. I want some water. And the Imam places his tongue on the tongue of Ali al-Akbar. He takes a step backward in shock and he says, you tongue, your mouth is drier than mine. And he says to him, go to the battlefield, your grandfather will give you a cup of water. And he comes to the battlefield, his own son being killed in front of his eyes. Why? So I can revive this religion. I can bring it to its rightful path. That was the aim of our Imam, Sayyid al-Shuhada, Aba Abdullah al-Hussain. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah.